Hey everyone, this is George Soto and you're watching Startups Unedited.
Hey everyone, this is George Soto with Soto Ventures. Hope all is well. Today I'm joined by Nicolette Mullenix, who runs the sales development program over at ToutApp, which happens to be one of the hottest SaaS companies. I'd say in the last several years, you've been really innovating in the sales automation, sales communication space. Nicolette, how are you? Good morning, by the way.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for hopping on, everybody. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. Well, I know it's although we were talking about the lack of power this morning. I don't know what happened here. Luckily, I have power in my apartment, so
Good.
sorry it didn't work out for you.
We got power at the office, so we're good to go.
Good. Well, Nicolette, why don't you take a second to just kind of give the audience kind of a brief overview on your career background and how'd you get into sales? You've been absolutely crushing it. I have an the inside scoop there, so I know you're crushing it.
Yeah, I studied international relations in college, and quickly decided this might not be the right path for me. So I, tried to find a job in a new city in San Francisco and came across an e-commerce company. So spent like an year and a half there, and hit a glass ceiling pretty quickly there, and it just wasn't exciting for me. It wasn't as fast paced as I was really hoping for. So I looked at many other companies, in the tech space, and where ToutApp really spoke to me with the very collaborative environment. I really truly believed in the product because I could relate it to so many things in my past, through jobs through college, jobs after college, etc. So don't have too much background besides probably one job after college, but so I've been here for just under 2 years now, and kind of gone, entry level job, and now I'm running the SDR team.
That's fantastic. So I know that culture is really, really important at ToutApp. What are some of the things that you kind of just enjoy about the culture there? And that is actually quite attractive. I know that you guys have such a fantastic pipeline of candidates.
Yeah.
Constantly wanting to join. What are some of those things? One or two as we're talking.
Yeah, I think what makes ToutApp really unique is you come into a lot of sales organizations, and it's the lone salesperson. They want to keep all of their secret sauce to themselves because they want to be the best, because salespeople are competitive. The type of people that we hire here are they're intelligent, they're driven, they've got really good character, but they want to work together as a sales team. They really believe in building something. They're building a brand, they're building their own brand, and they want to do it all together, because if everybody doesn't succeed, then they're not going to probably succeed in this company.
Awesome. So the collaborative environment, collaborative spirit. That's fantastic. Well, what is sales development, by the way? I know this is a category that's really emerged as a category the last couple of years, although it's not a new function. What does it mean to you as the leader of that team now?
Yeah, I think there's so many different ways you can go with that. Obviously, the reason that sales development came along is to make sure that each salesperson is focused on a particular part of the sales process. So, I think sales development people they're so talented in being able to get people interested in their platform or their product solution, what have you. But I also think that something we're doing interesting here is it's the entryway to the rest of the company. We don't just have a natural path to sales, but we're building true sales true leaders. We've got somebody that went to marketing. We've got somebody that went to customer success, SMBAE, corporate SDR. So there's so many different areas that you can go. And I think they're learning the basics of the product and how to sell it in a really complicated way. People that don't want to talk to you. So I think that's what's kind of unique, at least here, about that is there's so many different possibilities of career paths here. And it's not just specifically to sales.
I think that, and I completely appreciate that. I think that everyone should sell at some point.
Absolutely.
Right? And I mean, we're constantly selling all the time anyways, right? If we're in business or even just in life, sometimes you need to sell the, bartender and giving you a little more hot sauce in that,
Sure.
in that Bloody Mary, right? So I do think that, everyone should go through some sort of sales development like program. I think, if you're at an organization, the ability to understand what it takes to get someone's attention,
yep,
and book an appointment and go through that process is incredibly important. And one thing that's made me sad is when throughout my career, when I've seen people in sales closing positions who had no clue how to prospect, no
right.
clue whatsoever, and so that's made me sad. So I appreciate the sales development program. Just, a quick question, let's say you're sitting here and you're a startup founder like TK, founder CEO there at ToutApp, great guy, who's starting to think about what are the things that I need to start to plan for. How do I begin thinking about developing a sales development program? What are those 2 or 3 tips that you would give that founder, around how to begin to think about it?
I would try to identify your ideal customer profile. So, if customers are starting to come to you and you've got a really good idea, like really analyze what it is, like learn about your customers, really understand, how they're using your product or your service. What industries are they in? What type of buyer are they? What are they salespeople? Are they IT? And then I think you can start to frame, especially outbound. If you're building an outbound team, that's kind of how you frame that. I think if there's obviously 2 sides of sales development. There's inbound and there's outbound. If you want to make sure that each of, if they're inbound leads, you want to make sure that everyone's getting touched. So developing a sales cadence or a sales campaign or something around that to make sure that, everyone feels the love, they're getting the support that they need, and really teaching them along the way about your platform. The other thing I would say is hire smart. You want, just because somebody doesn't have maybe a sales background beforehand doesn't mean they can't figure it out. So really try to hire really smart people that you can feel comfortable, kind of throwing them in the deep end, and they're going to figure it out. I think that's why our sales development team initially was so successful, because we had like 2 really smart people, and a smart director to help build that out.
Are we talking about the Daniel Barber?
Daniel Barber.
God, I love Daniel. I have the pleasure of working with Daniel every day, and really, really blessed. I learn from him every day, especially myself, who's been doing sales and has been an SDR and been a closer and all that. It's really humbling and awesome to be able to learn from someone on a daily basis.
Yeah, he was able to get in the trenches, which is, I think, something that was really cool. When I came in, he was in the trenches with them. He was making calls. Like, he's like, let's figure out our pain points here and then adjust. Because they're going to need a little bit of direction. But if you get in the trenches with them a little bit and try to help them figure it out, it's gonna, I think it's going to set them up pretty well.
Awesome. So quick question here: how did you just accelerate your career? From being kind of like out of college to now running the team again at one of the hottest SaaS companies. Was it just your grit? Did you read, any particular books that gave you an edge? Like, if someone wants to be like you, someone's out there, they're watching this content, this video, this interview, and they're saying, man, I want to be like Nicolette, what advice would you give them?
I think a lot of salespeople would say they're competitive. I'm very competitive with myself. Like, I never wanted to do the bare minimum and hit quota. I wanted to go above quota. So that, that minimum, that was just satisfactory to me. So I would always say, like, post it up on my computer, and it was 15-20% higher than the quota attainment. I think a lot of it's being really self-reflective and understanding what did I do well this week, or what did I not do well this week, and how can I adjust that? Like, where have I seen my most success, and then revisiting that and just making some slight adjustments. But also, I think the fun part is being a part of a team and being able to be collaborative. I remember one of our, she's like our best SMBAE, and her and I would sit next to each other, and we'd have ToutApp up, and I'd see her email count continue to go up, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to beat her. And she's like, oh man, I'm going to beat Nicolette. So it's just, you got to make a game out of it too. I think something that's fun that we do here sometimes is we'll tally up, call rejections or hangups. And it's like the person that gets the most, like, say, gets a prize. But you have to make light out of the rejection, because that's the hardest part of the job. But if you make it light and you put a little bit of a vendetta on it, like, oh, he said no, but I'm gonna get him. So I don't know. You got to make it fun.
Totally. So when I was a door-to-door salesperson back in college, we used to say every no gets you closer to a yes, and
Right.
we were getting these no's in person, and it hurt a bit, right? But I completely appreciate that. Nicolette, if folks want to get in touch with you, are you on social? What's your Twitter handle? Are you hiring there at Tout? If people want to start to submit a resume or compete for a position, how can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, we're always hiring. I'm on LinkedIn. My Twitter handle is it's Nicolette ToutApp. My email is also Nicolette@ToutApp.com. So I'm super easy to get a hold with. Feel free to shoot me an email, send me a note on LinkedIn, tweet at me, whatever is your cup of tea.
So the takeaway from me today, thank you so much for joining us this morning, is really reach that extra inch, strive for excellence, hire smart folks. Even if they're not traditional salespeople, smart people can really figure it out, and be competitive with yourself. Be mindful.
Right. Absolutely. I think you got it.
Nicolette, have a wonderful morning. I'm sure I'll see you shortly.
Yeah, sounds good. You too.
All right, take care.